Hi all, and welcome to the video. In this one, it's a dgVoodoo2 tutorial. Now first off, you may be asking yourself, what on earth is dgVoodoo2? There we are. So, yes, various questions. And the very simple way of using this with Anarchy Online is as follows. So, the link we want is actually this one here, rather than the PC Gaming Wiki, although that one does give you a lot of explanations of what's actually happening. What's going on is that DG Voodoo wraps the older type games, such as Anarchy Online's vanilla engine, and allows them to run with a few more bells and whistles. And indeed, in a lot of instances, some older games won't run at all without something like this, as newer versions of Windows no longer really support those older games. So what do we need? Well, if we go here to DG's stuff, and go to downloads. This is the latest version. It does throw a virus warning, so we're going to download 2.73. The only reason is I'm not going to advise anybody to download something and turn off their antivirus. Right, so we download from here, I believe. We've got it here. So we're going to copy this, close the browser, place it on the desktop, and then extract to a folder on the desktop, wherever that's gone to. There we go. And you'll see there you've got this bit is the bit you really need. DG Voodoo control panel. So we're going to double click on here, and you can see it immediately shows the desktop, and it does in fact show some folders I've already played with. So I'm going to click on the add button. Now browse to wherever your Anarchy Online folder is. In my case, the vanilla client lives there. So we're going to select that folder. Right, best API available does work. However, I find leaving it on sort of DirectX 12, etc., just leave it on best available. Feel free to mess around with these settings. They're all pretty good. Glide we're not going to be using. We're going to be using this. Now, on the drop down here, you have DG Voodoo Virtual SVGA card, etc. We want this one, DG Voodoo Virtual Accelerated Card. Set its VRAM as high as we can. Filtering, we're going to overwrite and say, well, you know, let's have something nicer. Let's go for anisotropic times 16. Disable MIP mapping. This prevents low quality textures for me. Application control full screen windowed state. We'll leave that. I always tick allow fast memory access, and I turn off the watermark because we don't really need it. Now, I think a lot of people at this point believe they are done. You are not. No. What you need to do next is click apply, then OK. Then go to the MS folder here, x86, because we're dealing with a 32-bit program. We open here. The files we want are all of them except the D3D9. So we want ddraw, D3DLMM, and D3D8. So we copy those. Then we go back to our AO folder. So we open the file location. Pop it in like that. So it will create an additional file. It hasn't done it yet. So we start Anarchy as normal. We check on settings here. And I do have two monitors. So for me to use my main monitor, I need to click on either this one or in fact this one. So I'm going to be clicking on here, which is DG Voodoo TNL with HAL, and you can see there it does show my card. It doesn't have to. I can put it on DG Voodoo DX wrapper DG Voodoo TNL HAL and click OK there and OK there. We hit play. There you go, and you can probably see at the top of the screen I have in fact also installed Reshade, because I now can. Now this is at 1440, you can see the frame rate hopefully up at the top left. I'm going to log in on the character, so let's log in the doctor I've been working on. Claim the damn reward. Whatever it was, there we go. Right, and you probably noticed the frame rate being very high. If I use the in-game frame rate, again, it's high because it usually is when you're somewhere like this, and it seems to be double with DG Voodoo. Now, what's actually happening is DG Voodoo is in fact rendering those extra frames because it doesn't really understand what Anarchy Online is. Now, what I've added with Reshade is just SMAA, which I like. Now, obviously, I can add eye adaptation and things like that to brighten scenes, and I often do. But as you can see there, we have a nice, smooth frame rate. Lighting looks as it normally does. If you turn on Fong lighting, what you'll find is the lighting we normally see from characters running around with a light source is they turn into a bright circle, which can look a little odd. For the most part, everything works, and of course it does enable higher resolutions. Now you may be thinking, oh come on Kalos, this is the same DX8, but if I start up MSI Afterburner, no, go away. There you go, you can see there it's selected D3D11, so it's actually running in DirectX 11 mode at the moment, which can help with compatibility with older systems or newer graphics cards rather. As you can see there, everything looking as it should. Now, I generally use the old client for big raids when you have a lot of people, and or 12-man, because the new engine just doesn't seem to know what to do with 12-man and grinds to single frames. Indeed. I also find with this, it does feel as though you can see further with the old engine than you normally would, only as far as the new engine allows you to, so it's no unfair advantage. As you can see, it's pretty good. If I go into the in-game settings here and turn fog back off to normal, let's go somewhere with a good view distance. Let's oh, we can't use that either, because I've got anisotropic filtering on. When I use a nano, you see it sort of goes black rather than greys, which isn't too bad. Also, there seems to be a little bit of fringing on the borders, but everything is legible and readable. We'll leave that on normal for now. Now, if I run outside, now if I turn off fog now, you'll notice suddenly I can see all the way to over there. It's a personal choice whether you prefer it like that, but you can definitely see further with this. And also, look at the frames we're getting. 172. If I enter into a shop, so if I go somewhere where there's very little for the engine to actually render, the frame rate goes bonkers. There we go, 184, 200 frames a second, which would be 100 that the internal engine is rendering, but you're rendering 200. So if you've got a 120 hertz monitor, it is rather nice. This one is 75 hertz, which I can feel and see the difference between that and a 60. So if you've got a 120 or a 140 monitor, I'm sure this will be good. The other thing that I rather like is if we go to ICC. Now, famously I'm known for the words ICC, where frame rates go to die. However, they do not on the old engine with DG Voodoo. Okay folks, bye for now.